Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon. It is afternoon. Welcome from me and Stuart. We're here. He's just currently wondering why that's Frank's face on the logo and not his. Today, I have with me Dave Asprey, who is the happiest football fan in the history of all football fans. Dave, how are you, mate? Nottingham Forest have survived. You must be absolutely chuffed to bits.
Oh, Savva, it's just a wonderful feeling, mate. It's good to see you two lads again. Hope you two will end up smiling soon, like I am at the moment.
Yeah, right.
Get on to that.
For what?
Yeah.
What are we smiling for?
Well, the thing is, it's a lovely day. The sun's shining in, and I can watch football matches now, certainly this next week, with a sense of relaxation, a sense of relief, and a sense of satisfaction. It's terrific. Saturday was an unbelievable experience. In many ways, probably better than winning at Wembley last year, because we got to do it against a title contender on our own ground, and it was an amazing experience. So yeah, very happy, lads.
I think it's polite calling them a title contender. If they lose this title by 10 to 13 points, can we call that a title challenge?
It just depends how much of that scalpel of hindsight that you want to use, Savva. Do you know what I mean? I'm always wary of hindsight. I'm always wary of hindsight, because as we were going through what we've been through these last, 8 or 9 months or whatever it is, I'm always wary of saying this will happen, and then the opposite comes along, and no one wants to look like a fool. And I certainly, and you lads, you'll know from the shows I've been on, I've never once said Forest are going to do this and Forest are going to do that and we'll be fine. I kind of reject this idea that just because I love Nottingham Forest, everything's going to be brilliant. It isn't. I want to stay measured and reasoned. And so one of the other sensations I'm getting right now, lads, is vindication, because I've backed our manager to the hilt, as has our owner, and as have most of our fans. I mean, there were some who didn't want him around, and that's fine. There's room for a diversity of opinions, absolutely. But I just feel it's vindication for patience and loyalty with basically a really good guy and a decent human being. And I think the moment when it was finally sealed on Saturday and Steve was able to go around the ground to all four corners of the ground and really enjoy that moment, I think for a lot of us, it was the release of a spring that had been coiled for so long. So yeah, it was just wonderful.
Well, listen, I'm really happy for you. Perchy, are you as happy as Dave about anything at your football club, i.e. our shambolic football club at the moment?
I am. I'm excited that the season's going to be over next week. by next week, Monday, the football season's over and I don't have to worry. I mean, it's ironic, isn't it? Because I'm out here in Spain. I go and watch Espanyol play, and they're in a relegation battle. So it's like double jeopardy for me. Got a crap Spurs team that's done terribly, and a team that's going to get relegated into the La Liga 2, which is quite hilarious to think. But yeah, no, I'm so bored of the football season. I'm just so excited for summer.
Well, look, we have got a fan phone-in show today. So whoever you support, whatever football questions, whatever football topic you would like to call in and discuss, come on, discuss. Have something to talk about, though, right? There's nothing worse than when you invite people on and you go, how are you? And they go, yeah. It's like, okay, what do you want to talk about? No, just anything. So, look, headlines from the last weekend or so. Apologies, I've been away filming, doing a little bit of stuff, which I can't say about at the moment, but will come out in due course. Pretty exciting stuff. I think both of you two know about it, actually, but not the wider world. So Tottenham Hotspur absolutely embarrassed at home to Brentford. Man City won the title thanks to Nottingham Forest beating Arsenal. Leicester City hanging on in there by the absolute skin of their teeth. The same with Leeds, the same with Everton. Brighton have clinched European football for the first time ever. And I believe Brentford are in there with the tiniest of outside chances. I might be wrong, but Aston Villa and Spurs also all in with a chance of getting Europa League football. So look, we'll get some people on. We'll see what they want to say about whatever. Doesn't just have to be about Spurs. just before I get people on, Phil P, what on earth are you talking about? Have you ever had to come to your partner's emotional rescue when they effed up in public or at work asking for a friend? Phil, if you need some help, give me a call separately. This isn't the place to do it. Look, let's get a few people on. We have got Steve in the house. How you doing, man? You all right?
Hey, I'm all right, man. You know what? I obviously with Newcastle qualifying for Champions League football, it's so funny because it's come full course as a Newcastle fan. I bought this shirt about 2 years ago. It's from 96, 97. We played Juve, Barca. I thought this was just going to be an ancient relic, man. and now I'll be able to actually, wear it when we're in the Champions League. So it's awesome, man.
I love it, Steve. You've got every football shirt ever made up on that wall.
I got a few.
Who else have we got in the house? We've got Albert JTV.
Savva, I missed you, man.
I've missed you. Funnily enough, I've not spoken to you, I think, since Arsenal were winning this league. How are you, mate? You all right?
I'm good. No, you know what? I don't think we won our last game I was on with you, man. I don't think we did. But no, I'm good, man. It's good to see you, man. Lots to talk about. I'm sure you'll ask me a few things. Dave, love you, Dave, despite the result, man.
I love you, Albert, and I had the tiniest smidgen of guilt, Albert, as I walked out the City Ground. But you know what, Albert? I came out of the City Ground. I walked onto the riverbank by the Trent, and that smidgen of guilt had gone. I'm really sorry.
Yeah. No, you deserve it. I thought you stuff.
Someone needs to put their mic on mute. I can hear their mum or their dad or their sister or someone talking in the background. I don't know who it is. I don't need to hear it, but thank you anyway. Sachiv, how are you, my man? I think I just saw you put in the chat something about Arsenal being the biggest bottle in Prem history. Was that you?
It is a fact.
It's not Newcastle. Not Newcastle.
You can't say bottle on Savva's channel.
You can't say bottle on this channel. We'll get into it. We'll get into it in a second. Lewis, as always, the youngest, most depressed Tottenham fan of all time is here. How are you, Lewis?
Oh.
Lewis, you have to talk to me, my man.
Good.
You all right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. You're still depressed.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it's called grief, and there's stages of it, Lewis. And as you get older, you get to the end of it, and you don't really care anymore. And you just get, Dave will tell you. Who else have we got in the chat? Abdi's in the chat as well. Abdi is also Arsenal, but it looks like he's frozen at the moment.
Like Arsenal did.
Abdi, can you? Abdi, can you hear me?
Sorry, Albert.
Okay, Abdi, whenever you're ready, you come back in and talk to us. Guys and girls, where do we start? Let's start with the relegation battle. Before we talk about Arsenal and Man City. Right, Dave, your lot are safe.
Yeah.
I believe it's Southampton have gone, and it's two from Leicester City.
Everton and Leeds.
No, so it's 2 from 3. So I thought you were about to say.
Yeah.
So you didn't let me finish my sentence.
Sorry. That's all right.
It's all right, man. It's all right. It's like talking to my wife. I shouldn't say that, actually. I've just sent her a link saying watch this.
Welcome to
the background. So I might be in trouble in a minute. Guys and girls, who's going down? You've got Leicester City on, I believe, 31 points. Everton are on 33 and Leeds are on 31. Leicester have got the best goal difference. Everton have got Bournemouth at home. Leeds have got a bye because they're playing Tottenham Hotspur, so that's a guaranteed 3 points. What are we all thinking? Who wants to kick it off? Who's going down?
Everton are staying. They'll beat Bournemouth at Goodison, and it'll be a Dyche, Ian Woan, Steve Stone combination. So there's a Forest interest in there. I actually fancy the other two to win, but I just think that Everton will beat Bournemouth. I think all three will win, but Leicester and Leeds will go.
Yeah, are we all of that opinion? I mean, look, I look at it on paper and look, Everton at home to Bournemouth on the beach should be a win. But Are Everton that good that we can just go, that's a guaranteed win?
I think
No, not at all.
No, for me though, I'm thinking it's all three of them are playing at home. I think that's going to be such a crucial thing. I think that negates it. The only reason why I think Everton will stay up, I think they'll just have enough and scrape over the line and just do it. They will literally clamber over the line. But you've got to bear in mind, all the teams that are playing have really got nothing to play for. I mean, ironically, Spurs are the only team to play for anything, and it's the Conference League is the ironic. Leicester are playing a West Ham team that are probably going to play a kids team because they want all their players to be going to Prague. And Everton are playing a Bournemouth side who, by the way, before I say it, Gary O'Neill, by the way, how has he not been put in the conversation for the manager of the season?
Well said.
What he's done at Bournemouth is nearly incredible,
Great
by the way.
Great
show. I come to that in a minute,
actually. We'll come to that in a minute.
Yeah.
But okay, Steve, when I said, are Everton good enough that we just sit there and go, yeah, that's 3 points, you straight away went, no. Like you were like,
absolutely not.
I'm in your camp. I don't know that they're good enough. And I feel like this freak win against Brighton that they got might have made people think they're better than they are. Where are you with the whole Everton piece? And how happy would you be to see them go down like me?
Oh, I to be fair, I would too, just because they're Scouse Mackems. You know what I'm saying? They love associating with Sunderland folk for whatever reason. Probably because of Pickford, little dino arms. I don't know. They're just they like to beef with us on socials too. But the reason why I'm saying Everton at home is not a guaranteed win. Look at the past few times that they've hosted teams either bottom of the. Keep in mind, people, when Southampton were bottom of the table, they went to Goodison and won 2-1. Wolves at the time a few months ago, bottom of the table, and they went away to Everton and won. Leicester City also did the same exact thing. They went as bottom of the table and won 2-0 back in November. So for me, I don't see anything where it's like, oh, they're absolutely going to. Keep in mind also the past four times in all competitions, Bournemouth have played Everton. Bournemouth have won all four.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And they also beat them. And I remember earlier in the year they played in the Carabao Cup on a Tuesday at the Vitality, and they won, I think 3 or 4-0, and then they won on the weekend about 3 or 4-1. So they have Everton.
That was Lampard, not Dyche, though.
Oh yeah. And obviously Dyche is so much better. But for me, I think there could be one more wobble. And I think Bournemouth, again, they are underrated in terms of, like, everybody counts them down and out. I had them surviving. Before the season started because I'm like, you know what these guys do? They have this mentality where it's like everyone counts us down and out, so they don't really play with any pressure. They get goals from midfield. They do concede a lot of goals, but they generally have enough in the tank somehow, some way to make it work. So I think Everton should be a little bit scared. Definitely.
Okay. Freddie, welcome to the show. How are you, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. And you? Can you hear me, by the way?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm good.
I see you repping that Real Madrid top after they've been spanked by everyone in the last couple of weeks, haven't they? Not good times.
I'm not normally wearing it. It's only when I'm home, you know. Nobody can see me.
No one's judging you, my man. I'm a Spurs fan. No one's judging you. Who's going down, Freddie? Who's your money on?
The 3 at the bottom right now. I think Leicester, Leeds, and stuff. Yeah, Southampton, they are down, but definitely Leeds and Leicester.
So are we? Let's have a more intro music. I mean, it's pretty silly if you tune into my show and want to see less of me, isn't it? I mean, it's a bit silly, mate. I mean, when we look at it, guys, right? If I'm not wrong, if Bournemouth grab a draw at Everton and Leicester beat West Ham at home, Leicester have got a much better goal difference, right? If I'm not wrong. So can we not see Bournemouth grabbing a point at least at Goodison Park?
Absolutely.
Albert, what do you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think what might keep Everton up is that freak result against Brighton and that last minute point. But you're right, man. Their form is just, even with Dyche going there, they're still not safe to stay up. Leeds, I said to you before, Savva, they were my tip to go down and start the season. I thought they was very, very lucky to start last season, and you know, was that three managers this season? Is it? Yeah, I think they're down. Leicester, what, 1 winning 14? Oh, wow. And yeah, I think Everton. I don't think it's clear cut. I really don't. And I hear the talk about Bournemouth being on the beach, but if anybody's sort of followed like Premier League seasons, last days of the season, there's some really freak results, man.
I was about to say it's never.
That's not a gimme. It's not a gimme, man.
Yeah.
So is anyone giving Leeds any hope at all? In all this?
Because they're playing you.
They're playing Spurs, of course.
So for Leeds, if I'm not wrong, guys, for Leeds to stay up, they have to beat Tottenham and hope that Leicester and Everton both
lose.
Yes.
No. Everton is for Leeds to stay up. They need Everton. So there's two ways. They need Leicester to not win, and they need either Everton to lose and then to beat Spurs, or they need Everton to draw against Bournemouth and beat Spurs by more than 3 goals.
Yeah, I mean, we're bad. I'm not sure we're losing 4-0 away at Leeds bad, are we?
Hey, Savva, remember when we beat you 5-1 though? When we were
5-0 down.
No, Steve, I etched all the defeats out my memory, mate. I don't remember any of it.
I was going to say, we were 5-0 down in 20 minutes, Sav, mate. Trust me, nothing surprises me anymore with Spurs.
Yeah.
So we're going for a Sam Allardyce 5-0 half-time.
Patrick Bamford hat-trick in 10 minutes. And Spurs fans on the motorway within 10 minutes of the game.
Is it Harry Kane's last game, though, for Tottenham?
It is.
Yes. Oh, hang on. Oh, we've moved the conversation.
I like this.
Let me go to Sachiv. Am I saying your name right, by the way?
Yeah. Yes, you're right.
Good. Sorry, but if I don't say anyone's name right, please let me know, so I don't want to offend anyone.
That's all good.
I never do I, Jack? So, Chief, you're not Spurs, are you? You're Man United, if I'm not wrong. Okay, cool. What a memory! I remember who everyone supports. So, Chief, I'm going to tell you a little story. Yesterday, I was doing some filming, and there was a fan from every channel at this filming session, and they asked this Man United fan whether or not he would like Harry Kane at Tottenham, at Man United. And he turned around and said no. So I just automatically, like with my kind of inner Tourette's, just shouted out, what a load of nonsense. Like, just like live on camera, just like. And he said he wouldn't want Harry Kane because he believes he's only got 18 months to 2 years left in him. And that Man United need a 23, 24-year-old striker, not to spend 100 million on Harry Kane. Before I go into what I said, what do you...
striker doesn't exist.
No, of course he doesn't exist. But look, we'll talk about that in a minute. But Sachi, I mean, would you take Harry Kane at Man United?
Yes, I will take him. And like I just said in the previous show, I will take two strikers.
Do you want Richarlison as well, or do you mean just 2 strikers in general?
2 strikers in general.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say, we'll chuck. If you give us 100 million, we'll give you Richarlison as well. Don't worry about it. Okay, so why would you take Harry Kane? Why have I got Man United fans telling me that they wouldn't take Harry Kane?
I don't know. I don't know why some Man U fans don't want to take Harry Kane. He's even though he has not won any trophies at Spurs, but I've seen him for like 10 to 11 years. He's world class. He's an elite world class striker. He gives you like 20, 25 goals a season. He gives you goals, and that season of us, we were lacking of goals this season. So we want that Harry Kane type of player, and we also do need like a backup striker, because I think Harry Kane, I think he will have maybe at most 3 or 4 seasons in him.
Okay, so you take him, Freddie. Should Harry Kane leave Man United? God, there you go. Should Harry Kane leave Tottenham after this weekend?
He should.
Why?
know that because, I mean, he has to win something. He ain't gonna win it. He ain't gonna win it at Spurs, and yeah, just move on.
Champions League as well. We are also nearly at Champions League. We just need a point. But I just told
Exactly.
my friends I would rather get 2 wins. I don't want just 1 point. Just get all 6 points.
I honestly believe if Man United get Harry Kane, they are title contenders.
Well,
We
That's
really need players.
that's how much I rate him.
okay, so let me ask then, Albert. Let me come to you. So, as a rival of Spurs, try and keep it as partial as possible. Harry Kane going to Man United. There's two ways of looking at it. One is like what Freddie said, like chuck Harry Kane into Man United. They're title contenders, right? So, I've got two questions for you. One, does Harry Kane automatically catch Man United up to Man City with the squad that Man City have got? And two, if we're saying that Harry Kane needs to leave to win trophies, is Man United the obvious choice for trophies? Guaranteed.
If he stays in England, I actually thought he would go to Man United anyway, Savva, but this was years ago. But I think if he was to go to United, do you think, Savva? I think his role might sort of adapt a little bit. He might not be that spear that be the spearheaded attack and have play more withdrawn role as he's seen sort of England. So it depends how Ten Hag would actually use him, but he does get them closer to City. How close that is another question. Because you don't score the amount of goals he scored in the Premier League, and I can say this as the Arsenal fan, I don't care, and not elevate a team to better than what they're doing at the moment. And Ten Hag's done well. He's done well in his first season. Yes, he's coming to the part of the season where maybe it's a long season for all the clubs, isn't it? But it'd be interesting to see if it does happen. But I've got a feeling he might not go, Savva.
Yeah,
I don't
really?
know why. Yeah, I don't know. I think he might see the last year out.
But, okay, so let me move that on then. So, and this is to everyone. If we're saying again, because when we have these conversations of fan, right, we make it sound like we're playing Football Manager, right? And this isn't. Is this Harry Kane's decision, Dave? Let me bring you in here. Is this Harry Kane's decision? Because Harry Kane, of course, can turn around and say, "Look, I've got a year left. I intend to leave after that year." But whether he goes or not now, isn't that down to Daniel Levy rather than Harry Kane?
Yeah, there are always two sides to a negotiation like this, Sav. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like Albert, but I'm a bit sort of 80 that he goes, 20 that he stays. So I wouldn't say it's absolutely clear cut because he's got such an emotional attachment to Tottenham Hotspur, and he can see. When he plays at that stadium, you can see what, if you like, has been built upon his goals these last few years. Because if you take those 280 odd goals that Harry scored, away from Tottenham Hotspur, there isn't a great deal left. There's probably him, Min Son, and then not a lot after that. So he might just think, he doesn't owe Tottenham Hotspur anything. If he goes, he'll go with the best will in the world. But I thought he might have gone to Manchester City last season, but then obviously this. Thor turned up, didn't he? And that has put that to bed. And I just look around the other teams now, like he would never go to Arsenal, would he? Because of who they are and what it means.
Oh, you never know.
That fan base off, man, but it won't happen. It won't happen.
Yeah. So I just think, like Albert, I just think, to me, the way Harry plays now, the way his game's evolved, and he's dropping deeper, and he's acting like a fulcrum rather than the guy who's furthest up front like Haaland does. I just look at the way United play, and I think I agree with Albert that he would. I don't think he would completely bridge the gap between United and City, but I think, as an experienced player, he's done so much in his career. I think he would help them along the way, and then set a platform for somebody else then to come along and bridge that gap properly. So but Daniel Levy will say, they'll probably say, "Look, Harry, don't leave us," and Harry will say, "Well, look, I would like to win a trophy, and there's not that much chance." No disrespect to Tottenham, but they are not looking like a team that's going to win a trophy. 5-10 years.
So why? Let me ask a question then. Why, whenever we have these conversations, I don't mean we, I mean the royal we in terms of football fans, we always talk about Harry Kane to Man United. from where I'm sitting, aren't Newcastle every bit as good as Man United, but just having lost them in the League Cup final? They're like neck and neck in the league. Newcastle appear to be going that way. What would Kane do at Newcastle? And can we see that happening? Why are we just looking at United?
Harry Kane will be a beast over there.
I think Newcastle are massively overperforming this season.
Really?
Honestly.
Well, I think
Is that
I
a
think
bad
there's some
thing?
truth in that.
Is that a bad thing, Freddie? If someone's overperforming and elevates themselves to Champions League, isn't that the platform they can go, okay, maybe we overperform, but now we're there. Hey, we've got money. Let's kick on.
It is, but I think as Newcastle as they are now, I don't think they are a Champions League team. I think they've just overperformed.
I mean, we had to put the points up though, and the other teams behind us didn't. That would be my argument. For me, we're building, and we are. What I'll say, what I think what I can agree with you, and you'll probably agree with this. Maybe you guys will. We're ahead of schedule. I was expecting 7th this year going into the. I thought maybe in 2 years we could get Champions League. So maybe not this season, maybe next season, and then definitely the season after. So maybe actually 3 now that I think about it. So I think that's where I'll agree with you. And we have overperformed too. I get that. But we had to put the points up, right? We did have to put the points up. So and for me about Harry. Oh no. I know you're not. Because I see exactly what you're saying. Because I would be a hypocrite because I just said to you I expected we'd finish 7th. So even before the season. But you know what? As soon as we beat these guys in late October, it was the 25th. I made a video the next day on Newcastle Fans TV, and I'm like, I think we're getting top 4 because I saw everyone around us, and I'm like, you know what? Who is really going to, we're on a roll. Mm-hmm. I didn't see these other clubs doing much in January. I thought our home record, you know what I'm saying?
You finish where you finish, right? And just quickly, this guy constantly in my YouTube comments having a dig at me, and I like to dig back. I should know better.
Small club.
But Garage Classics, when you're saying Newcastle is still a small club, right? And let's not be reactionary. They've still won nothing and won less than Everton and Villa. No idea why there's this rush to crown them the GOATs. Ridiculous propaganda.
We aren't the GOATs.
Let's break this down. First of all, no one said Newcastle were this massive club, but I think we all recognise, anyone with half a brain, that they got into the Champions League and they've got unbelievable wealth behind them
and ambition
to kick on, right? Second of all, I'm not being reactionary about anything. Newcastle are on par with Man United in terms of where they are in the league, and they've qualified for the Champions League for United. They've won less than Villa and Everton. Yeah, but when did Villa and Everton last win anything? I mean, you're going back 30 odd years now, aren't we? Like, we're going back decades here.
Everton FA Cup.
No one's called them goats. The fact that you use the word goats is on you, not me. No propaganda. All I'm saying is Newcastle have the opportunity to do what clubs like Tottenham have not done over the years, which is get Champions League football and go, right, how do we kick on from here? Right? How do we take our squad to a level where we can compete in, I'm not saying to win it, but how do we take our squad to a point where we can play Premier League and Champions League football? So let's keep this sensible.
Shava, shout out to Eddie Howe, man. Amazing job.
Yeah.
Amazing job,
incredible.
Wow. And also, how many small clubs have 56,000 week in, week out, even in the championship?
Go to St James's Park.
Yeah, and then
look on at ye wonders. Look at the size of the thing. Look at the passion of that fan base. Nottingham Forest's first game back in the Premier League.
Yeah,
was 1-0. St James's. Was it 2-0? It was at St James's Park. Forest could have lost 14, 15, 20. Newcastle were that good, and people I know love the game and have a knowledge of the game. We all walked out of St James's Park, thought they are going to be contenders. They were a way better not going.
That first half, Dean Henderson.
Yeah. Dean Henderson.
Dave, their form since the Carabao Cup final has been excellent.
Yeah. And I've seen them twice this year. The City ground's been a difficult place for a lot of teams to go. Liverpool have lost there, Arsenal have lost there, City were held to a draw, Chelsea were held to a draw. Newcastle came And United beat us 2-0, but I think Newcastle's 2-1 win, which was on the night of my birthday, was the best any team has played.
It was a Friday, yeah.
Yeah. It's the best any away team has played at the City Ground this year. And I think they're not goats. That, to me, is just a very, very lazy slang word to throw at it. They have a long way to go. If you said goats to Eddie Howe, he'd chew your head off.
Yeah.
We don't use words like goat once we get over the age of 40, do we, Dave?
Hey, if I came on here and said goat, I'd get absolute pelters for being that old guy who kind of thinks he's down with the kids. You know what I mean?
Dave, I said the other day on a stream, there's a few words and phrases I hate in football. One is ceiling. Every fan know the ceiling of every player when we haven't got a clue. One is generational. All you have to do now is score 10 goals in a season and you're a generational talent. Double pivot. It used to just be called a midfield pairing. Now it's a double pivot.
Yeah.
And
low block.
Low block. Good defending. Just like
so many more.
Yeah, look, guys. Can anyone see, to wrap up the Kane, because we're going to move on to Saka in a minute, but to round off the Kane point, is there anyone that thinks he'll go abroad? There's talks of Bayern Munich. There's talks that Real Madrid need a new striker. And can anyone see Kane doing that? He's got 4 kids, all young. I mean, can we see that?
I honestly think that Real Madrid could be an option.
Yeah.
Just because,
we were having a talk of work yesterday, actually, Real Madrid.
Talking about, being guaranteed winning trophies. I mean, that's basically what the club is. I think they will be in for him, but and I think he should go, but we'll see.
Go on.
Sorry, no, I was just sort of allude to that, and I said we say about his kids and all that lot, and yes, he wants to stay in England. But let's just be sensible here. If Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Real Madrid, PSG, I don't know, Juventus for argument's sake, let's just say those 5 have all put £100 million on the table, and then they offer him, I don't know, $500,000 a year to go and play half a million to $500,000 a week to go and play at the Bernabeu.
And who's saying no?
Sorry. If he doesn't go, I would be, even as a Spurs fan, I would be irritated. Go and play at Real Madrid and go and potentially win a league there. Real Madrid win stuff every season, and even when they do win stuff, they still sack their manager. Like, do you know what I mean? Ancelotti is going to get sacked for basically
he's won 6 trophies in the past.
Not winning the league into a semi, but. So my argument is I know Spurs fans don't want to hear it, but Savva, it's something me and you have spoken about very much about is we need to, as a fan base, take Kane at Spurs out of our heads, because regardless if it happens in the summer, the following summer, or he signs a new contract and he stays for another couple of years, there will be a time when Harry Kane is not a Tottenham player. He's not going to be here in 15 years' time. We had this conversation. We had the conversation on Sunday on the Spurs review, saying that maybe, and I've got to word it right because it's the sort of thing I get clipped for, and then people go, "You want Kane to leave?" No. I don't want Kane. He's my favourite player, but is there positives of Kane leaving for £100 million for Spurs? I see there is. If he's going to go on a free the season after, surely you've got to take the £100 million, no?
Yes, and the other positive for me of Kane leaving is because let's say you guys bring in Arne Slot, because I watch a lot of Eredivisie, and I'm a huge fan of this guy, this manager. The way he plays football is sensational, absolutely sensational. Let's say Kane stays, Arne Slot is going to have to change his system, and I know this because Danilo and Santiago Jimenez are not the same profile striker as Harry Kane. And so he's going to have to change the way he plays in terms of the press and how the wingers feed them through crosses. So Arne Slot is going to have to change his system for a year just to suit Kane. And then if Kane leaves on a free, then he has to go. Then he has to actually teach his system and actually recruit the striker. And you don't have the $100 million to bring in whichever striker that is, whether that's a Luis Openda, who I think could fit his system at RC Lens, whether that's a Geraldo Becker at Union Berlin, one of those kind of, you know what I'm saying? There's options. So you have to, I think you should sell, because there's life after Kane. There's life after Shearer. There's life after.
Yeah, there's life after every player, right?
Exactly. People. I don't get this. You have to hold on to a player. Like, players leave all the time. It's not
exactly.
It's not a big thing, and especially with Spurs, because since Jose, the system basically have been kick the ball up to Son and Kane and just let them do something. Why can the new manager not create a new system where other players?
Freddie, Spurs fans are so worried about that because Kane has kept us above water for so many years. Spurs fans are worried that you let Kane go, that a new manager will then have to find a different way of playing. But let's be fair, whether Kane goes now, next year, at some point, we've got to find a way of playing without this man. And what I've said this all along. Obviously, you want Harry Kane to stay. You want him to stay 4, 5, 6 years, right?
Yeah.
However, I do think if he does that, he's got no ambition. But let's say he does turn around and say, you know what, I'll give it one more year. I'll see out the last year of my contract. And let's say Daniel Levy forgets how much he loves the smell of the green stuff. And I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm talking about the money. Shouldn't have said that, really, right? Let's say Daniel Levy forgets how much he likes money and says, all right, we'll let you go on a free, stay and play for Spurs. Do we really want a new manager and a new director of football who are implementing a new style of play and a new team to have the first year revolved around Kane, knowing that he's leaving a year later?
Exactly.
Do you really want to do that?
Exactly. No,
surely
because
you'd be
compromising,
million, right?
Yeah, you'd be compromising the system that an Arne Slot would want to play. Because, again, like I said, I know, and I'm seeing in the comments about the fact that you guys don't spend the money great. Well, that's a Levy problem, and obviously we all know about that. But you have to at least give yourself that chance. What would you rather have $100 million? Would you rather have zero?
Right.
I look at, and maybe that's too simplistic. Maybe it's, I don't know, but that would be me, man.
No, I think you're absolutely bang on, and I've said this all along. What I think is going to happen, it will be Judgment Day. If Kane doesn't sign a contract by X date, then the club will actively seek to sell him. I think. If he doesn't agree to a new deal, then I think the club will actively sell him. And I think we have to. And I hate saying it, and I think everything you've said is spot on. Is it better?
Sorry, mate. Just quickly, don't you think the thing is when Spurs fans talk, we talk in pretense, and I get it, right? We're all we're all scarred. We're all like, you know, we're not once bitten, twice as shy. We're like 1,000 times bitten, 1,000 times shy, right? I get it, and you hear all the same comments that come out, like, what did we do with the Bale money? And
Modric,
you know, last time we tried to replace this player, that happened. Look, let's be really, really honest, right? We're getting a new manager, a new director of football. That's their job. Their job is to come in and say, okay, what's my budget? Okay, cool. This is what we can do. And we all know, anyone who bothers to watch any leagues other than the Premier League, which some people don't, is Arne Slot plays with kids. Arne Slot, the average age of his team is like 23 and a half.
Kokchu, Vifa, and Szymanski are all under 23.
Exactly. So my point is this, right? My point is this. We can't keep harping back to, didn't we waste the Bale money? Because back in those days, 100 million or 90 million, whatever we got for Gareth Bale, was loads. Nowadays, 100 million isn't. I know that sounds mad.
It depends how you spend it.
Of course.
Rebuilds require money, and no player is bigger than any club.
Exactly.
And I think with Tottenham, I've seen Tottenham beat us twice and lose to us once this season. And you know, we're a poor side trying to make our way in the Premier League. So there's that caveat on it. But I look at Tottenham and I think, like I have with Leicester City, it's the end of a cycle. And if I was Arne Slot coming in, right, let me build it in my image. And I think Tottenham have gone round this boy so long, and they need to start actually moving forward. And I think if I was Tottenham, I'd try and get used to the idea that Harry Kane's not going to be around. Why not? Why wait a year? Do it now.
Agreed.
Because every Tottenham supporter I talk to is so fed up. And do they want this to continue and perpetuate? It's something that's got to change.
But
you know what I mean? So
the thing is about
Kane. Sorry. I was just going to sort of jump on what Dave just said. Exactly. Sorry, mate. I'll literally be a second. But what Dave said, spot on. Use Liverpool. Liverpool's a great example, by the way, of how it's done right.
Coutinho.
What they sold Coutinho, their best player, by a mile at the time, for 150 million. Someone might correct me.
Yeah.
And then they spent it on 2 players, and what did it do? It elevated them into
Champions
a title
League winners.
card. Turned them into Champions League winners,
And
then it catapulted them into winning the league from Man City. Big clubs make big decisions in selling their best player. Again, it was something me and Savva said on the Spurs video. Said when Spurs had the opportunity, when there was £80 million on the table for Dele Alli, Eriksen, even Eric Dyer, by the way, Man United wanted to spend 60 million quid on him. We didn't sell them. At the time, there was 60 million pound on the table, and we turned it down.
Yeah.
And big football clubs sell their best at their peak and bring in somebody else and go straight back at it. We never did that.
Levy is actually very bad at business when you think about it. There's this thing in football that he doesn't know anything about the football thing, but the business part, you know, it's his thing. But if you think about it, what you just said, 70 million for Eriksen, was it 70 for Dele Alli?
Yes.
Just take the money and run
Real
away.
Madrid wanted Dele Alli, didn't they? Real Madrid wanted Dele Alli.
Wow.
Real Madrid wanted to spend £80 million on Dele Alli. Then there was 60 for Eric Dyer. A common who wanted Eriksen, but he was also in the talks.
Madrid also. Sometimes, you know, when a player just kind of have overperformed, you just take the money and run, and then it will go to the new club and probably flop. You know. I think we need to change our strategy at Tottenham. It's the only way. The way we operate as a football club has to change.
You guys,
if only Tottenham could build a team like they built their stadium off the field. Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, we went with Forest to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and it takes your breath away. And then afterwards, you know, the team doesn't reflect the infrastructure of that club.
I was just about to say,
The thing is, the stadium is beyond belief, right? But the team is certainly underneath belief. It's just sorry to say that about Tottenham. But
just quickly, because I know that Albert needs to shoot in a minute. Just before you shoot, Albert,
Saka.
Yeah, I want to move everybody onto Saka, because if we talk about Harry Kane, some people get really upset, and you know, so let's not talk about Harry Kane anymore. Albert, Saka has signed the new contract, and depending on who you believe, it's somewhere in the region of 375 grand a week, equaling something like 15 to 17 million pounds per year. I'm going to throw it out there. How, who, why is this man being paid 375k a week? I would love your opinion as an Arsenal fan, because I think that is absolutely mind-blowing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've not heard it that much. That's the first time. It's a little bit. I say a little bit less. It's still a lot of money, but no. But listen, Savva, I don't get too caught up in terms of what the players get. Obviously, there's been issues at Arsenal before where we've paid our so-called best players way too much money. But he's been consistent for 3 years. I think he's been Arsenal's best Arsenal player of the season 2 years in a row. Won't get it. Probably won't get it this season. Probably Odegaard will get it. But he's been. Listen, he's been a lot better than what I thought what it would be in terms of coming through the academy and coming into the first team under Emery. Being consistent in a poor side. He's done very well for the national team, even though some people don't want to admit it. not Arsenal fans, by the way. But listen, in terms of the money things, I don't get caught up with it. I'm in a few Arsenal group chats, and the chats just constantly, not just Saka, just constant. I'll take a break away from it, because if you don't, you're just going to end up losing your mind. But listen, the money is what it is. He deserves a little bit more money. Whether people argue how much it is, that's up to them. I don't really care. And you know what? He's still young. He's still only 21. You know what I mean? He's done well in terms of, like I said, being consistent. Obviously, there's been a dip off in form in the last couple of months, which we've seen. And listen, he's that penalty miss against West Ham, he hasn't beaten his fullback for about 2 months. But it happens, Savva. People hit the buffers and the form, and it happens. But listen, I'm delighted he's signing. I knew it would happen anyway. There wasn't never ever going to be any issues in terms of signing the contract. The only one player that hasn't signed one, obviously Gabriel has, Martinelli has, Ramsdale has. Yeah, and I would be concerned with that, but that's another subject, man. But
they will all sign a new contract. They will all sign.
I think the only thing with the Saliba one, sort of going off in the tangent, is that he hasn't played for over 2 months. So I don't know what the hold up is, or whether it's even starting negotiations. So,
You know what his agent will be saying to get more money, by the way. You said he's been out the past 2 months. What's happened in the past 2 months? That's what the agent could point to, being like, my client has been out in the past 2 months, and look what's happened. He's a valuable member of the team.
That as well. That as well. I think, that as well. And obviously him coming to Arsenal, he only had 2 years left. So that was a concern. It's been a concern for Arsenal fans a lot longer.
He will sign.
But listen, delighted with Saka, and listen, the world's his oyster in it, so we'll see.
All right, listen, I know you need to jump, man, so feel free to jump, and then we'll slag him off while you're gone. We'll take it from
Big
there.
Albert, mate.
Dave's loves, man.
Please all go and subscribe to Albert JTV if you haven't already. He's a great guy.
I'll put the link in. I'll put the link to his channel in the description.
Cheers, thanks, bro. Appreciate that.
Guys,
thanks.
a legend. Follow
I've got
Albert,
to jump to as well, Stav. Thanks for having me on.
See you later, mate. See you later. See you later. Guys, I'm aware a couple of people haven't spoken. Feel free, chip in, jump in, talk, guys. It's all good. Saka, where are we at? I'll be honest. I'll tell you my opinion on Saka is I think Saka's a good player. Notice the way I said he's a good player. I don't see this all-conquering, world-class, wide player that lots of people want to peg him down to. And I can't believe that players of that ability are getting... I don't care if it's 300, 350, whatever. I can't believe he's being paid that sort of money.
How much would you give him? 250? 200?
Dave, you're on mute, by the way, if you're trying to talk.
But that's
sorry, he wasn't worth that on Saturday at the City Ground.
Yeah, definitely.
I've seen many games this year where I'm like, is Saka playing? But look, Steve, for me, I'm not one. I don't normally get too caught up in what is a player getting paid.
Yeah, I don't either. This is not my cash. Yeah.
I just can't believe that this guy. I mean, I was looking at his stats yesterday, and I'm not the biggest stats person, but there was an Arsenal fan where I was telling me how he'd had a much better season than Salah. So we started comparing their stats, and it was unbelievable how Salah's been in a transitional poor Liverpool side has smashed the granny out of Saka in terms of all stats in all competitions. I don't know where I'm going with this, but what does everyone think? Is Saka this genius wonder kid, or is he another one that is brilliant, we hype up, and then might tail off to being just a normal player?
He needs some competition, I think, to see the best out of him, because I don't think there's anyone there to push him. There's no one there to push him for his spot. And they're apparently going to sign Reece Nelson as well. What does that say about them, bro? What does that say about them? You know what that is? That's a cost-cutting exercise, bro. The fact that they're in the Champions League now, so supposedly what everyone says is that the Champions League, you can get all these ballers, the world-class ones. And I consider world-class top 10 in your position. Are Arsenal going to do that? Are they going to bring in a Rodrigo from Real Madrid, who is world-class in his position at the right wing? No,
he's not.
A guy like that, for me, Saka needs competition because he's going to get burnt out. He's going to get burnt out.
I agree with that.
Yeah, but and on the wages, that's just the way football is going.
That's
I
true.
mean, how much is Sancho on 300?
250. Oh yeah, 3. You're right. 350.
I read that when Vinicius joined Madrid, he was on 300 or something like that. 300, and he was 17, 18. It's just the way it's going.
Yeah. How much are you paying Camavinga and Tchouameni? How much are you paying them a week?
200, 300.
Yeah.
But
Madrid
these guys are
Madrid
doing it at the very top, right? I mean, listen, I'm not knocking Arsenal. Have had a good year. I like Saka, by the way. I'm not.
Oh, I like
him.
Saka a lot.
I like Saka, but
he's a good quality player.
I listen. I might be showing my age here, and Dave, I'll group you in here as well. But I remember when players had to be special to be talked about in these brackets. Now it feels like everyone's just going to getting a new contract at like 200, 300 grand a week. It just feels absolutely
it's a social media world, Savva, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was about to say it.
Also,
so a lot of hysterical views become commonplace, and then they become themes and memes and all that. Back in the day where you had less, kind of chance for everybody to pile in on the argument, you would get, you would have to earn it. Like back in the day, we didn't know who was coming out of Brazil. We would go. The only way we would find out would be at a World Cup. Now everybody knows everything about everybody. It's a data-driven world. So, back in the day, it was money and currency. Now it's information and data. And football is no different.
Yeah?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Abdi, you're Arsenal. Tell us what you think. What's going on? How good is this lad?
Okay. Saka's good. I mean, he's way better than I thought he would be. But he is, unfortunately, really likable, but very overrated, especially by Arsenal fans.
Mm-hmm.
Because,
just like Romero with Spurs fans,
True.
I get in trouble for talking about Romero.
Oh,
I mean, with Saka, the problem with Saka and why he's overrated is down to PR, because he's got elite PR with Arsenal fans. The fact that he plays well for England most of the time, and because of those three things, it's almost like you get more hate for criticizing Saka than Saka gets when he doesn't have a good game.
Yeah, but that's how it is when you're backed by the loudest fan base on the internet.
The most demented
the
as well.
Arsenal.
By far, man. Arsenal fans. Oh,
yeah, there is loads of them crawling around the internet.
We've got the worst fans in the league.
Well, I don't know. We've got quite a few bad ones as well. I'm not going to lie. Talking of bad fans, here's Sean. How are you, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Surviving. How you guys doing?
Good. Yeah, listen, all right. We're just talking about, with obviously the news breaking of Saka signing his new deal at Liverpool, at Arsenal for whatever it works out to, 300 odd grand a week, whatever it is. Just saying, like, how good is this guy? Because, like, I watch him and I do think, yeah, you're good, but I don't watch him.
Do you think he's world class?
No,
Savva?
not.
Do you think he's in the top? By my definition, world class. Everyone has different definitions of world class. I keep it simple. Top 10 in your position. Can
top
you name
10? Listen, I'll tell you why I can't go with top 10.
Top 10.
Because
top 10's too many.
after about 4 strikers in the world, I start worrying about who can get me over 25 goals a season.
Really?
Oh, okay, let's do it. Let's go.
Osimhen, Kane, Benzema.
Osimhen for 1 season. So Kane, Benzema, Lewandowski, Haaland.
And then you've also got the likes of
Mbappe.
There you go, right? No one jumps to your mind.
They guarantee.
I would argue Osimhen, but I agree with you. I would like to see him prove it year 2. I would agree with that.
I think
Vlahovic.
You can't call Osimhen world class yet. No chance.
No chance.
So you guys are more of a
Osimhen does it for 3 years, then we can talk about world class.
He is very close to world class. I've seen him in compared to
Freddie, why? Why? Like, sorry. Listen. I don't know if it is because I'm old. I don't know, and I know I look young and handsome, but I'm not. I'm actually really old and ugly
30?
with a brilliant filter. Right? Listen, I don't understand. Right? Osman, has had a very good year. I don't think any of us can knock that. But why is it a player has one good year and we go world?
I don't think he's had just one good year.
I don't think he's world class. I think he's
trajectory.
He's not there,
Okay, but would you call like Cratch from Napoli world class yet?
Kvaratskhelia?
Good season. You wouldn't call him world class yet.
He's had a world class season this
but
year.
he needs to be consistent about it.
He's been one of the best players in the world this year, but is he a world class player? I think you have to have 3 seasons of
I agree.
Consistent standards to be able to put that in that bracket.
Fair enough.
All right, guys, without looking, Osman, without looking, no one look at any stats because I've got them. Right, no cheating. Name me after. So Osman's got 23 league goals this year, which is good. I still don't think that's world class. I think that's good, right?
Yeah, it's still good. Yeah.
What's his best goal scoring season before this in the league?
13.
12.
13? 12?
11.
13, I believe it was for Lille.
17.
Maybe even 9 or something.
Right.
No, it's not 9.
So he scored 19 for Charleroi.
Royal Charleroi.
In Belgium, right?
Yeah.
And that was 5 years ago. Since then, his best is 14.
And one off.
I'm not sure how a centre forward whose best ever year before this year was 14 can get talked about anywhere near class, let alone world class. Tell me if I'm being harsh. I mean, if I'm
for me, with Osimhen,
players, like Lukaku's had years where he's banged in more than 20 goals, right? And he's no one but put him in the world class caliber.
Right.
Exactly. So, you can have freak seasons, but you have to do it on a consistent level, year in, year out, at the highest standard as well.
Maybe it's just because of the lack of strikers. I'm maybe very quick to judge, but when I watch him, I just watch, his movement,
the jump, jump that guy has. He can literally.
Everything I watch, I'm like, he's gonna do it again.
The tools he has in his toolbox.
Exactly.
He has pace. He has power. He has intelligence, positionally. He's a good finisher with both feet. Like I said, with his head, he can score goals.
Exactly.
I think he's got the hunger of a striker. He takes penalties well, and I know people think
is he
penalties are
world
easy.
class?
I would argue yes.
No.
After 1 year, 1 year of scoring 20 plus goals.
It's a bit. You know what it is.
Top three in your position, not top 10.
For me, I agree.
Okay.
Because let me ask you this then. Could anyone I don't want to rattle through them. If I said to you all right now, can you name me 10 world-class right backs? No one could. 10 world-class goalie. No, I don't want you to go through them, but we couldn't name 10 world-class right backs, 10 world-class.
We can bet
the only positions on the football pitch, because of the current the trend for formations, where there's probably more than 5 world-class players, might be right wing forward, left wing forward, because there's so many players that sit in that position. But strikers, centre mids, DMs, right backs, all that stuff, there's not enough world-class players to go any more than top 3 in any position, but maybe left and right wing forward.
Can they do it? Can they do it for 5 or 10 years though? Everybody's so short-termist. He had a good 10 games. He had a good 20. Give me Cruyff, Pele, Maradona. Give me guys like that who've done it over a long period of time. Messi, Ronaldo. So this business. I'm with Savva. This business of world class. That phrase, that label, is so undermined these days. So overrated. We just give it to him. I mean, I could say to you, Taiwo won his world class because he scored 5 in 3, but that's ludicrous. You know what I mean? So
I've seen West Ham fans
to me, the only world class player in the world
not world class either.
No, he's not.
Lionel Messi is the only one. He's done it for so long.
Is Ivan Toney world class?
Hang on, well, 1 sec. One at a time, guys. One at a time. No, Ivan Toney is not world class.
Really?
Really on it.
How?
Really?
He's a very good player. He's a very good player, but he's not world class.
Okay.
I mean,
The thing
I
with
gamble
world
that he's
class is that
He's done it for 2 years, but that's not enough.
done what for 2 years? Like, sorry, at what point did scoring 20 goals put you as a world class centre forward?
In the world of GA,
Nah,
But
is a
in,
good player, man.
in a world where we've got Lewandowski banging in what he does, Haaland doing what he does, Kane, Benzema, Mbappe, Messi, Ronaldo, in a world where these guys, if they scored 20 goals in a season, everyone would be saying it's the worst season of their life. But for other players, we're saying, they're world class. Like, how many goals has Tony scored in the last 2 seasons
The thing
in the
with
Premier
world
League?
class
37 combined,
is that
I think.
Right. So Ivan Toney, in his last 2 Premier League seasons, has scored 32 goals.
Wow.
Right? Harry Kane's got 28 this year. Right? Like, doesn't that...
True.
Yeah, but with world class, I think everybody has their own definition. Because for me, you can't put a number on it. It's just when you watch that player, you know, okay, special.
Vinny
player.
Jr.
Is
world class.
Yeah,
Vinicius Jr. is a
Modric,
good.
Iniesta. You're like, okay, world class.
But you can't look at Tony and go, that's world class. Surely, like I like.
Is it just because he's at Brentford, or if you were doing this for Man United for?
No, because Harry Kane's at Tottenham, right? So, I don't think
for me,
he's a similar level of club, so you've got a point.
I'm going to go, lads. Keep arguing. I love this passion, boys. It's great to see all of you wherever you are in the world. It's fantastic. And can I just sign off by saying 30 signings, who gives us stuff, Nottingham Forest to stay in up. All the best, boys.
See you, Dave.
See you later, lads. Bye now. Thank you.
So let me ask you then, guys. So on the subject of world class, it's nice to talk about something that's not Tottenham Hotspur, Sean, isn't it? It's nice to have a bit of a break. Can we name 5 genuinely world class goalkeepers that have done it year in, year out?
Neuer.
Jan Oblak used to be one.
Alisson.
Jan Oblak is back to his best this year. Courtois.
So Courtois.
Ter Stegen.
Alisson's another one.
Alisson,
yeah.
Alisson, definitely. Ederson.
Alisson is definitely.
Edison's stats are not that. Edison's got he's conceded. I was looking at a stat the other day. He's conceded something like 17 goals more than his XG concessions should allow. Like
I don't think
he actually concedes a lot more goals than he's supposed to. He's
It's
brilliant.
going to happen.
Donnarumma.
Yeah.
No, Donnarumma. He's been disappointing me at Paris Saint-Germain.
So do you see my point here, guys? My point here is that whenever I've said centre forwards, we get to 4 and everyone then starts going, I'm not sure. Goalkeepers.
Then have to throw in Ivan Toney. Yeah.
Right. This is my point.
Yeah, it's like saying the frequency of there's more world class players in the inside forward role because when the formations pivoted towards more of a 4-3-3. A lot of the talent, a lot of the speedy, tricky players, of which there's a plethora of in world football, they pivoted to the left inside or the right inside forward. Like DM, maybe you could name more than 3 world class or 5 world class DMs because it's like a busier position, right? But it out and out like centre backs maybe, but right backs, left backs, strikers, goalkeepers. I don't think there's that many world class players. But if you're going to pick a position where there's probably more than 3 or 4, it's probably in the inside forward.
It's a tough one, isn't it? I'm a believer, Sean, that I need players to do it year in, year out.
Okay.
That's only me, right? That's only me. And look, guys, Sean, you've seen the amount of stick I've got over the years, right? For my son opinion, where I've said I don't think Son by any way, shape, or form is world class. His goal numbers are.
It was marginal. It was marginal before this season.
Many flaws.
Marginal
too many
before
flaws
this
in his
season.
game.
Well, for me, it never was. I mean, I look at his last year was the year he got 23 goals. Yeah, which is good from that position. Very good in that position. But in all the years before that, he was hitting nowhere near those
12.
numbers. And for me, if we take it away from the stats, I just watch him play, and I watch when you're not scoring goals and when you're not through on goal. How good are you with your link-up play? How good are you when you've got possession of the ball when you've got 3 or 4 players around you? How comfortable are you to receive that? And for me,
he also got found out, mate. He got found out, and the definition of a world-class player, when other players, when other defenders around you, or in this situation, defenders, when they start to figure out that Sonny's main skill set was coming off the left, taking his one touch, creating half a yard of space, and then whipping it top locker. Once right back started to figure that out, he didn't adapt. He couldn't adapt.
True.
And that to me that limits a world-class player, like a nomenclature as a world-class player. You have to be able to figure it out when people start to figure you out. And I don't think he did. Yeah,
he has too many flaws in his game, man, for me.
I think that's right, Freddie. And listen, the reason I bring up Son is to prove a point. This isn't me having to go at players from other clubs. I'm very harsh with it on players from my own club as well, right? I mean, this point is brilliant. I mean, and again, this is an age thing. So depending on how old some of you are, Stuart brings it up. And this list could go on and on and on and on. The likes of Batistuta, Cantona, Romario, Ronaldo, Klinsmann, Baggio, Stoichkov, Bergkamp. You can chuck into there the likes of Zola, Hadji, Stoichkov, Ravanelli, Alan Shearer, Andy Cole. There was so many top strikers back in the day.
These players,
but that was because it was a 4-4-2 system. The 90s was 4-4-2, right? So you had very much defined roles, and I think when the game pivoted away from a traditional 4-4-2, forwards had to pivot into either being an out-and-out number 9 or the false 9, or step out into the width. And so I don't think there's as much space now for the traditional, like the old school 4-4-2, the 10s, whatever you want to call it, or the 9s.
True, but they were still world-class footballers, whatever position they played, Sean. This is the thing now. Are there, like, I look around the Premier League, for example, and I know everyone wants to call everyone world-class, but outside of Man City, I don't see many. Like, Man City have got a squad littered with top players, but I look around and all right, you can go Salah,
Casemiro
for his consistency, Casemiro,
Oliver Skip.
Oliver Skip. Do you see what I mean? There's
Isak is on a promising trajectory. I will say that, but obviously.
Yeah, but I mean, even with a player like Isak, for me, what will happen is if Isak gets 20 goals next season, everyone will straight away want to go world class. You've got to do it next year and the year after that and the year
3
after
years,
that, surely, right?
People haven't figured him out yet, right? He's so brand new. Other defenders haven't worked out how to handle Isak, and yet in 2 years' time, if he's still doing it, then he will have faced the consequences of people being familiar with him. And if he's still doing it, then you can have the conversation. At some point, Erling Haaland people will figure out, teams will figure out, or at least improve on the ability of figuring out how to handle him. And then he'll have to then figure out how to adjust.
I agree with your point, Sean, but not on Haaland. I think Haaland.
I don't think so.
I don't know how you figure him out because his strength, his pace alone, but his movement in the penalty box is one of the best I think I've ever seen.
He drags two center backs with him almost everywhere he goes.
He's just phenomenal. I think he'll get over
then he will be if he continues to be unplayable, then he'll be world class forever, right?
He's world class now, right?
I think he's world class.
But he will continue to be world class. But all these up and comers that currently have, that are flashes in the pan that are doing it right now. Let's see if they can continue, and if they can, then they may be in the bucket, but otherwise not.
Would you guys consider Dybala world class?
Not
really.
I think he's the next level down for me.
Overrated, man.
I like him. I like him. I wanted
Dybala carries Roma.
When he was a free transfer last summer, I was desperate for a Dybala type player. He's a quality footballer, but I don't know whether or not he creeps into conversations about World Player of the Year and Ballon d'Ors.
If they win the Europa League this year or something, and then they go on to have a deep Champions League run, and then if they do well in Serie A, which I hope they're not, I hope they don't. I like Lazio, but I honestly, he could be in there, man. He could be. Injuries have always screwed up Dybala too as well.
Here's a shout, guys. Let's talk about this. Not even Man City have many world-class players. Just two.
No.
Just two.
I don't think.
Wow.
I'm gonna go De Bruyne, Haaland. For me, the best player in the league, Rodri.
Gundogan. Rodri, yeah.
Bernardo
Right.
Silva,
Bernardo
Phil
Silva,
Foden, Riyad
Kyle
Mahrez.
Walker. Kyle Walker
Kyle
was world
Walker,
class.
yeah, 100%.
Carl Walker,
Walker as well, yeah.
Ruben
And-
Diaz.
And one of the
Ruben
yeah,
Diaz is
and,
good. Diaz
John
is good.
Stones
even
is another one.
Stones, man, he's so underrated.
John Stones, yeah.
Stones has an argument.
I think Stones has been one of the
Ake
best
as well, Ake.
defenders in Europe this year.
Did you say Rodri?
Not only this
mentioned
year,
I think we should put Mahrez in that conversation.
Mahrez. Oh my word.
Guys, Sean, I don't know if you've heard me say this before. My favourite player in the Premier League is Rodri. I truly believe you watch Man City, everything,
So good.
everything goes through Rodri. That
He's
man
intelligent.
Is just he's Sergio Busquets with a bit more legs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's true.
But he has so much more
Just to
responsibility because when Man City do lose the ball to a counter-attacking team,
Yeah.
he's basically the only one who's back, having to protect whichever one of the centre backs and whichever one of the fullbacks hasn't joined the attack.
is he?
So, like the responsibility on his shoulders not only to create from the back, but to protect the back on the rare occasion when City when City lose the ball. It's mad.
Is he better than Fernandinho?
I think he's a very different player to Fernandinho. Fernandinho was more of a
Ball winner.
break-up play ball winner. Rodri's just, for me, he's a perfect midfielder. I think he does it all. He protects the back four. His passing range is sensational. I think I saw yesterday all the pundits put their team of the year. Some of them were shocking, but I think all of them had Rodri sitting in that position. For me, I just think he's sensational.
He has to be there.
Nah, brilliant.
Anyone else who are missing from across the league? Anyone world class that we're not giving any credit to? Maybe because they don't play for a
Outside
top
of
team.
City,
I might have one.
Harry Kane.
Harry Kane, defo.
Harry Kane,
Yeah.
I may hate
Salah.
Chelsea, but Thiago Silva is world class.
Thiago Silva, absolute phenomenal defender, and he's like 106, isn't he? Like he's been playing forever. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Guys and girls, let's move away from the world class conversation. Let's talk about the league's been decided. Let's talk about the Champions League final. And sorry, dude, I know you said you need to go. Do you still need to jump?
Hmm?
Do you need to jump?
Jump? Not really.
Do you need to leave?
You need to leave the show.
Oh yeah. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I need to go, man. No.
Yeah, no worries, mate. No worries. You take care.
Yeah.
Peace out, bro.
Peace, man.
Peace. Well, that was funny. Right. Does anyone give Inter Milan any hope in the Champions League final to Real Madrid?
Oh,
Yes.
have
Man
a
City?
dream, man.
Yes, I do.
Imagine-
Because no, go on.
Imagine them just defending for 90 minutes and counter attack. Look, that would be the best, man. But I hope.
Okay, but does anyone like realistically? I'll put my feelings out there. I always do. I'm gonna go with Man City to win this about 4-0, 4-1. I don't think.
I'm saying
I don't
one.
think. I don't think
1-0
Inter
City.
Milan have got any hope of keeping this Man City team at bay. Every time this year, someone said to me, "Oh, I don't know. They battered Arsenal. They battered Bayern Munich. They battered Real Madrid." And I don't see Inter Milan as good as any of them teams. So, Sean, we're just talking about, does anyone give Inter Milan a chance in the final of the Champions League?
I don't think they will. They will lose like with 4. I think Madrid lost with 4 because Ancelotti got it wrong, playing Kroos and Modric in midfield.
I don't know why. I have to say something. So the key problem was like that Rudiger was on the bench. He didn't play him. He should have played him.
Rudiger definitely should have
But the
played.
midfield for me, man, Kroos
The
and
midfield
Modric,
was absolutely overrun.
both of them in the Champions League.
Modric was
semi-final.
shocking. I couldn't believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't play both of them. But yeah, with Inter, Inzaghi is very like, he knows, like, he comes up with these tactics, you know, to stifle the opposition team. The only problem is that Inter don't have pace, man. Inter don't have pace. because the defense, Bastoni, Acerbi, quality, man. But it's just the attack, man. No pace. That's
Let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this, because as I said, the problem is every time Man City go into one of these big games this year, everyone always puts up an argument as to why the other team can do it. But are we not seeing now that Pep Guardiola's found a formation that is ripping people apart, and no matter what they do, if Man City turn up, which they are going to, right? They're not going to.
Definitely.
If they're on the promise of a treble, can anyone see them not turning up and demolishing this Inter Milan team?
I don't think they'll demolish. You know what? You know how you beat City though? You have to be direct, especially with the long balls. Look at Brentford. Look at Brentford when they beat them at the Etihad. By the way, and you know what? And you know what similarities Brentford and Inter have? Two up top wing backs, and something Inzaghi likes to do a lot is swap out the wing backs, Gersons and Dumfries, and then who's the other two? It's DiMarco and I forget the other. Oop, I froze.
You did freeze. But Steve, let me ask you though. Listen, I'm just playing devil's advocate with all these things, right? Yeah. Somebody said this yesterday, and I was like, yeah, but isn't this the Man City from 30 games ago, not the Man City that haven't lost for 25 games in a row and are battering everyone? I just feel like they've got it right, not only going forward, but defensively. Man City look absolutely solid, don't they?
I think it'll be a 1-0 Man City win, but I think Inter could give them trouble with those long balls over the top to feed Dzeko, to feed a Lukaku possibly, or Lautaro Martinez. I mean, it's a final at the end of the day. It is a final, so it's not like they're playing Watford or anything, you know. But for me, I think it'll be a bit tougher. I think it'll be a bit tougher than people want to say. But that's just me. I just think if you want to catch City, you have to be direct. You have to be direct, and you have to catch them out because they will push up. And the other thing you have to do against Man City is you have to take your chances. You have to take your chances. And if you don't...
Can I ask you, though, do you think, everyone, that playing the two up top against Man City, knowing that Man City are going to be camped in your half, getting... I reckon that... I said this the other day, someone laughed at me. I reckon they'll have 82, 83% of the ball in that final. I truly believe Inter Milan won't have any of the football. Yeah. Do you think playing two up top is the best tactic in terms of stifling Man City in the midfield areas and the channels? Is that...
Yes, and I think, I actually do, because if you know what the more intriguing thing is, because Inzaghi doesn't play any other way. It is 3-5-2. For me, what's the interesting one is who's going to be that three in midfield? Is it going to be Barella, Brozovic, and Çalhanoğlu or Mkhitaryan, or is it going to be Mkhitaryan, Çalhanoğlu, Barella? For me,
Brozovic and Barella has to play.
With who? Mkhitaryan or Çalhanoğlu?
Yeah, that's it.
I would go Çalhanoğlu because of the set pieces. Set pieces.
Oh,
can
yeah.
But Mkhitaryan as well can score you, and he's a decent player. So I don't know.
I think he can play with two up front because he still have three in midfield, and let's say
the wing backs will track back.
Exactly.
Dumfries and DiMarco.
You could change it up so you have, let's say, Edin Dzeko and what's the Argentinian guy?
Lautaro Martinez.
No, the other one.
Joaquin Correa.
Yeah, you can have him, and he can, when the defend, he can be like an extra midfielder or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. So let me, Sean, let me bring you in here. I know it's quite an outlandish statement that I've made there in terms of Inter Milan having 20% or less of the ball. Can you see them having a lot of the football? I mean, it's not really their game. It's not their style to have a lot of the ball and dominate. Can you see them having a lot of it?
No, I don't. No, the only way that they can get a result out of this is if they defend like beavers, and then when they get the opportunity to break, they break fast and they take the full advantage of the handful of chances that they might get. Like they're probably going to get 2 or 3 chances during the game, and they need whoever the chances break to step up in the moment. Like other than that, and the other thing that I think that we've seen like Erling Haaland quite a few times over the last few weeks. It's never really cost City anything, But Haaland against Arsenal, for example, at City, they were 1-0 up after half time, but they could have been 4 or 5-0 up. But Haaland missed a bag full of chances. And that wasn't the only time that's happened recently. There's been 2 or 3, 4 chances where Haaland's been a little bit wasteful. And, if Haaland, so I think you need a couple of things. You have to expect City to create a lot of chances. You probably need Haaland to miss a few, or whoever's going to get them to miss a few, whether there's some nerves there because City haven't won the Champions League. It's going to be the icing on the cake to get the treble. There's going to be pressure on City. There's really no pressure on Inter. So if Haaland, if they do struggle a little bit under with the heat of the pressure, and then on top of that, when Inter do break, they're going to need to be absolutely clinical. And they have talent. They definitely have. They have talent. They have talent.
Fantastic. DiMarco.
Let me get a score prediction from each of you. Steve, I'll start with you. Give me a score prediction in the final.
I'm saying 1-0 Man City.
1-0. Okay, Sajeev?
Sadly, unfortunately, 3-1 City.
3-1 City. Freddie?
3-0 City.
3-0 City. Abdi?
This is a difficult one because I think there's one factor that you guys haven't taken into account. Pep has a history of overcomplicating things when it matters.
That is true, but
it is. But right now, you look at
a new solution.
Every big game they play right now, it's the same starting 11 in the same formation. You think Pep's going to change that for the final?
Even if
things have happened, I mean, he might play John Stones up front.
I don't know.
Come on, we all know the team.
It's going to be a 3-2-4-1. 3-2-4-1.
It's going to be Edison, Walker, Diaz, and either Akanji or Ake, depending on who's fit. Stones and Rodri. Then it's going to be Grealish, Silva, De Bruyne, Gundogan, Haaland. We all know that, right, Abdi? Surely.
Yeah.
That's what destroyed
from.
Arsenal, Munich, Madrid. That's the team, man.
God, I don't
and the other thing is too is that this isn't if this was at the Etihad, I would say 3-0. If this is at the Etihad, for me in a neutral venue, things could be I think a little bit because it is going to be a 50-50 split, obviously, of supporters. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. When was the last time there was even a blowout in a Champions League final? Was it Juve Real Madrid a few years ago?
4-1 blowout.
Blowout meaning like a 3-0, a win by 3 goals.
I see.
Sean, you still haven't given a prediction.
4-2 City.
4-2 to City. Okay, Sean.
I'm going to go for 3-1. 3-1.
3-1 City.
To City, yeah.
And I'm going to go 4-0 or 5-0. I think they may. I think this is one of the greatest teams I've ever seen play football.
Could be. Oh, it is. It is.
It is. I have to sadly agree.
Do you know what? Like, so we're having this chat yesterday, right, guys? And my feeling on it is this: Inter Milan can defend very well. The problem is when that is your game plan. If City get an early goal, your game plan changes completely, right? If City get an early goal, they get the taste for it. They could be 3-0 up in the blink of an eye.
Yep.
And I think the moment they get 2 goals, a 2-goal lead, that's the final done. I just think they're superior to this Inter team in every way, shape, or form. So I'm going to go 4-0, 5-0, or maybe a consolation goal for Martinez or Lukaku.
Fair enough.
And same question. Does anyone give Man United hope in the FA Cup final versus Man City?
I actually maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
They have the pace with the what's his name, Rashford.
Rashford, yeah.
Hit on the break.
If I was a Man United fan, sorry.
No, just
thanks. My only concern with Manchester United, with Rashford at least, is he's been out of form for a while. So are you really sure he's going to turn up for such a big occasion?
Yeah, but the thing is, he has played low block teams, and now he's gonna. I mean, he is for me. He's a bit of a like Son. He's a counter-attacking player, pacing behind. and yeah.
One caveat I would like to put in there is like, would anyone consider Brighton a low block team?
No.
No.
When we say low block, are we just talking about teams that defend well? Is that what we mean by when we
Teams
say
that
low
sit
block?
back. That's what I.
Teams
That's
that
what
give
I.
you the ball.
Can sit deep and just
Yeah.
But whenever Man United have the ball, Rashford isn't great.
No, exactly. He's not like in in possession player. He's best like in a counter-attacking team.
True.
And I think it's perfect.
Can I ask though,
for him against it.
when we keep saying about this so-called counter-attack and pace that keeps beating Man City, can someone tell me when this last happened?
Brentford.
You guys.
No, but
wasn't that in
Brentford
like
at the Etihad.
December?
That was before
February.
the World Cup. That was the last game before the World Cup.
But
That was why.
it doesn't happen often, but it is the way to beat them. If you have to beat them,
Yeah.
that is the way. That is the way.
And you think Rashford's the obvious choice for the Man United counter-attack?
Yeah. I mean,
What about Man United's? Sean, let me ask you this. So Man United at the back, as far as I'm aware, Martinez and Varane are still out injured, as far as I'm aware. So this leaves a essential pairing of Luke Shaw and
Lindelof
or Maguire against Haaland.
There's no way Maguire would. Yeah.
I didn't take that.
Maguire Haaland.
Sean, I mean,
No chance.
if you're Haaland, you're licking your lips at the thought of playing against. Aren't you just gonna pull onto Luke Shaw at every opportunity?
I mean,
to either of them, it doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter. Like they're going to be torn apart. I think United are going to get sent back to the Stone Age, and it's going to be uncomfortable to watch, but also brilliant because I've got far more Manchester United friends than I have Manchester City fans as friends. So I'm going to be sitting there with my text out saying, "Are you enjoying this like I am?"
Yeah, I mean, I keep getting called a Man City fan, Sean, because I think they're going to spank Man U 4 or 5, and I think they'll spank Inter 4 or 5 as well. I just look at these teams.
They're the best team. They're so far ahead of everybody else.
Everyone.
It's insane, and they're going to get better. Like they've got money to spend if they need it. Like the gap is just getting wider and wider and wider.
I don't know why, but
Sorry, just quickly. This guy is killing me, dude. Right? Listen, feel free to come on and have this debate with me. Savva's talking like City are unbeatable. Let me just let you know something, because I know that you don't use common sense because you're a bit of a tool, right? And I don't mind saying that. I'll say it again. You're a tool, right? You go at me in my YouTube chat every day. You're now coming into my YouTube shows and doing the same thing. Manchester City are 26 or 27 games unbeaten in all competitions. They've spanked Arsenal 4, right? They've spanked Real Madrid 4. They spanked Bayern Munich, was it 3 or 4, whatever they did in that game. They put 6 past somebody else, 5 past somebody else. Right.
6-3 to us.
So when you're talking to me about I'm acting like they're unbeatable, if you can't acknowledge how good this Man City team is, then that says more about you than your beef with me. But I'll send you the link. You can come on because you keep running your mouth. And I'll be honest, I know I should be better than this, Sean, by the way. I apologize. But I feel like this guy's going at me all the time. And I'd look, come on, there's the link. There's the link. Garage Classics. Have your video on or your camera on, or you will not be allowed on, and come on and tell me why Man City are beatable, and yet Ancelotti can't do it, Arteta can't do it, none of them can do it.
Thomas Frank did.
But you keep hopping back to like one game in like November.
Spurs beat them.
Stellini did it. What's your point?
Huh?
Stellini did it.
Stellini. Listen. There's a difference winning a one-off game in the league versus doing it in a Champions League or an FA Cup final. I just, Sean, let me bring you in here on this, right? I don't know about you. I just fail to believe that this Man City team have done all this. He's gone. There you go. I'll ask you guys. I fail to believe that this Man City team have done all of this to go and lose to. I mean, it's a good Man United team, but it's not a scary team, is it? That Man City will be worried about.
What is scary? What I will say is scary, though, and this is a cliche kind of, I guess, but it's a derby. It's the first ever Manchester derby in a final, and we know derbies. Never mind football being a funny game. Derbies, you hear the form goes out the window.
Yeah,
there is some truth in that. We do kind of have to, acknowledge that. But that's the only reason why I wouldn't. I don't think it'll be a 5. I think Inter are less likely to get absolutely bummed and destroyed by Man City than Man United are. I think it's far more likely Man United get absolutely smoked and rinsed because of a few things. It's number one because I think Inter are a better defensive side than them, without obviously Man United not having Lisandro Martinez and Vera. So that will
do you not think that Man United have more like physicality, and that maybe
I just don't think they'll touch the football. I think this is the problem is for me when you see, and I'm going to come back to this stupid comment in a minute because the guy's too scared to come on. Right?
Come on, man.
I think too many times I hear fans say things like "get stuck into them" and physicality. I just think this Man City team do what Pep's Barca team did. They move the ball so quick and have so many options that they don't allow you to get stuck in
or to break up the rhythm of their flow.
Right. And I don't think they allow that. They don't hold, like if a player holds onto a ball for free, look, Sean, look at Spurs at the weekend. Skip held onto the ball, 3-4 seconds, dispossessed. Man City's players don't hold on to the ball for 4 seconds. Touch, pass.
And then they could switch it.
But
it's just me.
In the game against the semi-final game against Madrid, when Ancelotti moved Camavinga to midfield and Tchouaméni into midfield, I think because of their physicality and they how do I say it, like they won the ball back, like they won the ball more. I don't know how to say it.
No, I hear what you're saying. The first leg away at the Bernabeu, right?
No, at the Etihad. In the second half, when Tchouaméni came into midfield and Camavinga got pushed into midfield, I think Madrid was much better at winning the ball.
But still lost the first half the same amount they lost the second half, right? They still lost 2-0.
Yeah. They were still awful. They were still awful. But I think, just that physicality.
Listen, dude, you've either got to put your money where your mouth is. You asked for the link. You've got it. Stop coming at me with really ridiculous things. If you think that because Spurs have this bogey thing over Man City, that's a reason they won't win the treble, I think that sums up you being a Spurs fan, my friend. That is as Spursy as it gets. Listen, I sorry, guys. When people belittle one of the best ever, I just look at it and I think you're Spurs. You give Spurs fans a bad name. And you're a tool, and you're a clown, and you're scared to come on. It's up to you. Come on. You can't have your video on in public.
Yeah. So how are you watching in public?
Keep walking away then, my friend. Keep walking away. So, guys, anyone, give me some score predictions. FA Cup final. Steve, let me start with you.
2-1 Man City.
2-1.
In extra time.
Oh, it's getting to extra time.
Wow. Yeah, I think Man United will stink it out, and I'll go 2-1. Alvarez score the winner.
Okay, Alvarez. Very specific. All right, so Chief.
I'm going with hopefully a 1-0 MU win.
1-0 Man United win.
Hopefully.
Okay. All right. You're a Man United fan, right? Do you believe that you'll win?
Listen. This season we have done to them at Old Trafford. So Wembley is kind of our second home. So I just feel like, because I I really hear it because Wembley is a neutral ground, but like for me, I mean, like the fans will definitely can really make a huge difference, but like by any chance of us having a very stinky win, we have to win every 50-50s of the ball. We have to win every single thing. We must not lose focus. As you have just said, their one touch football is just simply good. And this season, this is by far the best City team this season. And listen, it can be anything. Football is a very like a funny sport, so you never know. So that's why I'm still gonna I still have to back my team. So I'm going with
Well, there you go.
one.
That's how you win it. Haaland's a donkey, and he hasn't got a good first touch. Just mark him out the game. You've got a chance.
Clearly, someone didn't watch him at Borussia Dortmund. That's not facts.
Do you know what, Steve? One of the funny things, and Sean, you always hear this when me and Box Office go at this, right? Whenever people say to me, he's got a bad touch, did anyone watch
an above average John Carew?
His link-up play in the Arsenal game, his link-up play for Real Madrid, his link-up play when he was at Borussia Dortmund.
Marvelous.
What people like Billy don't understand is when he was at Borussia Dortmund, they're not Man City, right? They don't have as much ball. They don't dominate the way Man City dominate a football. So he has to drop deeper. At Man City, they play the whole game in the opponent's half. So he has absolutely zero need to drop deep and get involved. But
you know what, Savva? I think you hit the nail on the head there, mate. It's not about what he does or doesn't do. It's what he needs to do. He can do, I think, basically anything. And he does score a lot of goals that have a super high XG. He does, right? But that's because he gets himself in the right positions to take advantage. But when he's asked to do other things, he can always do them. So I think the guy is he's ridiculously gifted with his physicality, with his attributes as a human being. But he also has all
finishing
everything that he needs. He can do. If the club would ask him to do something that required more technical, build up or whatever else, he'll be able to do it. The guy is just on a different level.
And the whole, just quickly, Steve, the whole mark him out the game. The guy's got 50. How many has he got? 54 this season.
Yeah.
Why did no manager in any of these games work this out then, Billy? That you just mark him out the game and he doesn't do anything. And didn't they just slap Madrid 4-0? How many did Haaland score?
Just one, I think.
Anyone remember?
Just one.
Gundogan got the first two, right? No, sorry. Bernardo Silva got the first two.
Was it good?
And Alvarez
got one.
Alvarez got one.
Did Haaland get the other?
I can't even remember. But this is what I mean. Not one, right? So Billy, Billy's my mate. I like Billy. I like Billy. He's funny. Garage Classics.
Akanji. It was Akanji got one.
Oh, that's right. Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was.
Late in the game. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't goal, to be fair.
Pac-Man, I agree with you. He's a City fan, so it's like people's eyes just don't work. I feel like what happens here, guys, is when we're watching a team as good as this, because it's not our team, we want to pick holes in
belittle them.
Right. But if this was my team, right? If this was your team playing how City play, we'd all be waxing lyrical about how good they are.
But it's weird. It's weird this because I don't remember people was like that with Chelsea when they were dominating Man United. I don't know. Maybe it was before like social media.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, this is how I'm going to end the show in a minute, by the way. But it's like I must have missed his overhead kick. I must have missed when he's delightfully dinked the ball over the keeper's head, the powerful headers, the volleys,
the goals on the break.
Yeah,
I mean, that goal he scored.
Finishes.
I mean, that goal he scored for Dortmund against PSG outside the box.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely ridiculous goal. Ridiculous.
I do. People make me laugh. I shouldn't spend so much time in the comments, but it does make me laugh. And apparently, Pep got it wrong. I'm sure Pep Guardiola right now is sitting in a room somewhere going,
Why did I buy this guy?
Why did I buy Haaland?
So
This is terrible.
Yeah. Why didn't I buy Ivan Toney instead? He's world class, damn it.
And I could have got a few tips on the betting. Yeah. Oh, mate. Listen, any last things anyone wants to say? Any last things before we... I can't deal with any more silly comments.
The last thing
I actually have one.
Oh, sorry, go on. You first.
It's a bit out of topic. It was actually the reason why I joined the call. I would suggest like Spurs, and people will call me crazy for this. I would suggest Spurs should go and sign Tielemans on a free.
Tielemans
on a free. And my argument is, remember like when Leicester won the FA Cup, everybody was raving about Leicester and was raving about him and how great he was and
he was
blah blah blah. And now a year, 1.5 years later, everybody's just he's shit. And I don't believe that you just like overnight become a bad player. I know it's a year is more than overnight, but I still think there's a player in there.
Let me go to Sean then. Sean, Tielemans, Spurs?
On a free.
Well, yeah, look, I think the Tottenham are going to have to be very wily with our budget this summer. I don't think we're going to have, I did a video about it today. I don't think there's that much money going around. And I think that we're going to be tearing up contracts left and right and centre. And I think that we've also got to pay for Pedro Porro and Decky. So, I think we are going to be doing bits and pieces in the free market. There's a lot of players out there that are good. And I think that Tielemans does it. He 100% improves us. He's not, I wouldn't put him at the top of my list, but I wouldn't hate it if he came in. I agree. Sorry, mate, I don't know your name. What is your name, buddy?
Freddie.
Yeah, nice to meet you, mate. Yeah, I agree with Freddie. I think he's a really good player. He is off the top of his peak performances, and I think Tottenham could do a lot worse than getting someone like him. I don't hate it at all.
Yeah, Freddie, from my point of view as a Spurs fan, I don't hate him as a player. I think at the moment, when we're talking about who Spurs should sign, it's a pretty moot point because we have no idea who the manager or footballer is and what formation they want to play, what style they want to play, whether or not. Because the one thing with Tielemans for me is he can't run. And
Arne Slot needs runners.
Right, this is my point.
Szymanski, Kokchu, and Vifa all cover ground like madmen.
Spurs have got a lot of players already that can't run, and I just get the feeling that that he will want more than that. But listen, I don't know. He might come in if it is Slot. He might come in and go, "Yeah, get me Tielemans on a free."
All depends what the manager wants, right? That's what
how much budget is there, right? If we've only got 100 million quid to spend,
sure,
you're not like. Then we're going to be tearing up contracts, like 6 contracts might be torn up. And, we might want to sell a lot of players as well. We're not going to have that much money to spend. And we've got to, hopefully spend, if we can get David Raya for 25 million or whatever, if we go and spend 50 million on a decent centre-back, 60 million, that's a lot of the budget that's probably already gone. And we're going to have to go and get players further up the pitch as well. So, yeah,
I take your point. Kane.
Might have to sell Kane, yeah, maybe. I mean, that's a conversation for another day. But, for me personally, I don't hate Tielemans. I take your point. He hasn't got the legs, and under a slot system, you probably want faster players. But I don't think he's not a horrible player. And on a free transfer, not the end of the world. Not the end of the world.
Mm-hmm. Any other last questions or points before we go?
One more quick thing before I go. Yeah. As for FA Cup final predictions, 4-1 City, they're gonna batter United.
I hope they do.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. I hope they do as well. It's the Man United fans I can't stand. Sorry, Steve, not you, but I just
That's all good.
I
Liverpool fans. I hate Liverpool fans more than Man United fans, but Man United.
I hear you.
Generally, quite annoying people.
I love this mini debate that
you.
started on the side between Pac-Man and Billy Horrocks, and Billy, who's never seen a game of football, thinks that Haaland only scores tap-ins, and De Bruyne has set him up apparently for every one of his 240 goals in his career. Just picture this, right? We're going to leave it on this, right? Purely because it's my show, it's my ball. I'll do what I want with it. Erling Haaland is 22 years of age, has over 240 career goals for club and country, right? Yeah. Has already broken the Premier League record of a number of goals in a season, right? Has his best ever goals to games ratio in the Premier League after everyone's saying he wouldn't be able to do it in the Premier League. And still you have fans doubting him. If you're Erling Haaland, what on earth does this man need to do for idiots, I'm sorry, to sit there and go, yeah, I was massively wrong about this guy who's already on 54 goals or whatever it is. Like, these numbers are ridiculous.
And it's not just that. It's that people don't appreciate who Haaland is, what he offers. You aren't just a tap-in merchant if you don't have good positional play, tactical awareness, intelligence, pace, all these sort of things. Being ahead, instincts of a striker, the hunger. There's so many intangibles that Haaland has that not many other strikers in the world have. It's baffling. Yeah, it is baffling. Yeah, but
it is baffling.
My last thing I wanted to say is, since Newcastle United are in the Champions League, I've seen a few people saying I want an easy group in the group stage. Nah, man, I want a group of death. I want a group of death for Newcastle United because we're going to be a pot 4 team, and so that means we're going to face pot 1, 2, 3. For me, if I had to pick a dream group, it would be Napoli, Real Madrid. Why not? And I would go with, from pot 3, I got Shakhtar, RB Salzburg, Dinamo Zagreb, possibly. I'll go AC Milan. Why not?
I think you're one of those teams in pot 4 that nobody wanna play against,
especially at home. Yeah. Especially at home.
I think St. James's Park,
if you're not going to win the tournament, you might. This is what I was saying as a Tottenham fan going into the season. Like, if you're not going to win it, which you probably aren't, with not being disrespectful, then you might as well use the opportunity to play against, like, to enjoy the experience, play against the very best. When Tottenham got drawn against, Frankfurt and Sporting and Marseille, I was like, well, we could probably qualify out of the group, but it feels like a Europa League draw to me. It doesn't feel.
To be fair, Frankfurt and Marseille, those are I absolutely the atmosphere and those fans are absolutely mad. I know in terms of prestige, it's not top of the top, but in terms of an away day, those are my two. Those are my two that I'm like, if I ever went to Europe, I want to go to the Village.
You don't want to go to Marseille, mate. You don't. Not wearing your black and white shirt, you'd be interesting if you got out of there alive. To be honest,
that's the fun of it.
Right, guys, I do need to finish the show. I'm so bad at saying I'm going to finish the show and then keep going on. Before I do, there are a couple of super chats. Morton Barley, big up my friend, really good guy, has said, will City allow Brentford to possibly nick 8th? I mean, City are playing Brentford, right? I can't see any way which Brentford win that, but you're about to say they're on holiday. If anyone thinks Pep is letting Man City take their eye off the ball in their last 3 games,
I'm not saying that. Definitely not. I'm saying Brentford again. Brentford have the tools to give Man City a game, and they have already shown. I know they've changed. I know they've changed. Yeah. But for me, hey, why not? Brentford, they're at home. They have a good home record as well. Look at what they've done this year, actually. I mean, they did they do the double?
Steve, I'm trying to wrap the show up, my man.
Sorry.
I'm trying to go. I'm trying to leave the show.
Sorry.
Morton Barley, thank you so much for that. We'll see. We'll know the answer to this Sunday evening. And then Ricky Proctor, thank you so much. I said, I think he's talking about the fans like Billy that belittle quality players at Haaland, and he said such fans will drive him to become more lethal, and that is very, very worrying. But listen, Steve, thanks very much for your time. Freddie, thanks for your time. So G, good luck in the FA Cup final. I think you're going to need it. Sean, good luck, just because you're a Spurs fan like me and we need good luck for absolutely everything. Thanks for coming on. Much love, everyone. We will see you on the flip side, and we've got a nice little 10-second video to see you all out. See you later.
And here comes Hurst. He's got some people are on the pitch. They think it's all over. It is now.